mean that, family. Our youths, our young ones, our children, we need them, redeem them, and clean them. You see them, or else the enemy will come and scheme them. Family. I mean that, family. Education for the nation that's full of salvation, biology, astronomy, and African theology, geography. Family. I love that, family. Whatever the age or the stage, that youth will be engaged with tutorials, activities, and videos from the studios of the Priest Isaac Institute of Holistic Knowledge. Family.
The International Homeschool Program is designed and recommended for all ages. The psychological state of our children is very important, especially in the environment that most of us live in. The International Homeschool Program provides online classes, activities, and videos that are fun for the youth and edifies them of their African heritage as well as the higher sciences. To enroll your family today, visit www.priestisaacinstitute.com, go to the main website, and search for Youth Corner. Or you can email priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com for a course sample. Give thanks.
Blessed love, I am the Honorable Priest Isaac. I am an official priest within the realms of Rastafari of the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress. I also hold a certification in the craft of archaeoastronomy from Politecnico di Milano in Italy. Our universe and its makeup has always been an intriguing subject for humankind. Astronomy is the study of everything in the universe beyond the Earth's atmosphere. Ancient astronomy is similar, but pays special attention to the physical and spiritual values of stars, planets, moons, and other celestial objects. It also brings in the terrestrial component, being things on an earthly plane, such as plants, human organs, and connects them to the heavenly bodies. In this course, you will learn the makeup of various planets and stars, how to locate them in the night sky, along with their associated constellations. You will also be taught about the earliest civilizations known for their astronomical comprehension, namely Kush, also known as ancient Ethiopia, Kemet, called Egypt today, the Dogons, and the Bozos, as well as the civilization of Sumer. You will also learn about black holes, their nature and origin, as well as how the ancients viewed them. Ancient astronomy is the mother of archaeoastronomy and astrotheology. Both subject areas are covered by the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. Sign up today. Visit our website, priestisaacinstitute.com, or email us, priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com, for more information.
While churches rose to the sky in Europe, in 12th century Africa, they were being carved out of the ground. These Christian pilgrims in Ethiopia are on their way to worship at one of them. In these highlands, in the 12th century, Lalibela, a new king from a new dynasty, built a new holy capital. Today, Lalibela's legacy lives on in the physical splendor of the churches and the traditions of their guardian priests.
My blessed people and congregation, churches with no mud, no wood, and no cement. You cannot find anything like this in the rest of the world. You are all blessed because you are here. This place was built by God.
Every year on St. George's Day, pilgrims gather to celebrate a faith that has endured here for 16 centuries. These Christians claimed that God brought the Ark of the Covenant and the tablets of the Ten Commandments to their land. On holy days today, priests carry on their heads replicas of the tablets, wrapped in gilded cloth. The people of Ethiopia have been carving churches out of mountains for more than 1,000 years. But the 11 churches of Lalibela symbolize their achievement to the outside world. Has become a legend, his story told by monks even today.
There was a city called Roha, where lived a man who belonged to one of the most noble of families, one of the richest in gold, silver, garments, precious stones, servants and maids. He had a child who became the mysteriously named Lalibela.
In the legend, the king's greatness was recognized at birth. A swarm of bees descended on his cot as if around honey.
His mother named him Lalibela, which means the bee has recognized him as king. But these were not bodily bees, but angels who took bee form in order to announce his reign.
God sent one of his angels to bring Lalibela to heaven to show him the most holy of churches. Lalibela, the story goes, ordered tools to be made to carve temples like those he'd seen in heaven. His craftsmen turned the wild mountainside into a new Jerusalem.
thanks for your presence with us. Another edition of the Tiger's Nest. Yeah. We definitely say blessed to the fullness of the community. Oh yes, give thanks for your presence with us. Give thanks for all those who are coming in, pattering in, getting all your spices together. Thanks for your presence with us at this moment. Of course, as it said, cannot go to Zion, that perfect place. You cannot go to Zion, that serene place. You cannot go to that holy space without a salvation. And it is even spelled out for you, Salvation. Family, we glorify the life giver and the keeper of life with no apologies to anyone. The Mawe Haile Selassie the First is to be exalted. And we definitely give thanks for your presence with us. A beautiful evening at this moment. We're talking about the Tiger's Nest radio program. Remember, this is a program that comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 7 p.m. sharp, right here on Radio Anu, the international flavor, the universal spice. Honorable Priest Isaac here with you, your humble servant for this moment. And as always, we definitely have a wonderful program for you. Slight bit overcast as such on the outside, but still we give thanks for the heavy showers that have been coming in. Of course, you know, we are still basking in the summer solstice. Give thanks for everyone that partook in the summer solstice experience with us. Give thanks for everyone here in Antigua that came up to the Friday sunrise yoga meditation hike. What a beautiful session that was. And of course, give thanks to the Honorable Goddess Empress Naya Aimani, who would have led that session with us, the yoga session. You know, definitely on the Radio Anu TV, we will, you know, show some pictures. And those of you who are not on the website, visit our website and you would get some reviews on the hike and of course, the full summer solstice experience. We are sharing the stream this evening with the family on the YouTube. That is Radio Anu TV. And Royal Family, remember, everything is really taking place on the independent media, Radio Anu. Maybe the internet is not independent, but at least we have a spot in the web, you know, your website. That's the site you have inside of the web. Imagine that, as if you're a fly caught up in the spider's net. It's a net, you know, it's into the net, in the net, internet, and the word worldwide trap. A trap, a web is a trap. A net is a web too. Uh, yeah, so that's why you surf the web. Try not to fall off the surfboard. So we have a site in the web. That's to show you how dangerous the game is. And we skin and grin about it and think that we're having fun. You better be careful. I better understand what you're dealing with footbook and autogram and the tick-tock, tick-tock. I mean, this is some serious stuff. X. Yeah, but for sure, visit our website, priestisaacinstitute.com. That's priestisaacinstitute.com. Those of you who are viewing this, of course, you know, the link is in the description below. And this will be very important for this evening's program because the fullness of the Tiger's Nest this evening will be heard right here on Radio Anu. So for those of you who are watching on the YouTube, which is Radio Anu TV, you will have to join us for the fullness of this program. And of course, what you'd have to do is press the link in the description below. Now, this evening's program is going to be a heavy program. We're definitely going to be continuing the discussion of African spirituality. We had a beautiful sit down previous night. And let me just bring this up again. Family, if you're not a subscriber to the Tiger's Nest radio program, it's a very simple thing to do. Those of you on the website, everything is right in front of you. You can email us as well, Priest Isaac Institute @gmail.com, and we will definitely hook you up and make you a part of the subscription team. And what do you get when you become a member? You never miss. You'll never miss. You'll never miss another episode of the Tiger's Nest again. Beautiful stuff. So I'm looking forward to your presence. But previous evening on the Tiger's Nest, we gave an introduction to the African spirituality vibration. Now remember, we were to have a program, roundtable, previous Thursday. This Thursday, we intend to have that roundtable as we go into African spirituality/spirituality. Because remember, the subject area as such for a discussion was brought forth by Brother Isern. And Brother Isern was saying that, well, you know, he has some personal experiences he wanted to bring to the table. So he wanted to talk about spirituality. But for some time, I've been saying that we need to go into African spirituality. Those of you who listen to Radio Anu, to the Tiger's Nest, you know this is a subject that we go into, you know, from time to time, the whole aspect of African spirituality itself, not necessarily, you know, versus religion and theology. What we did previous night, we took the time to go into spirituality, theology, and religion. And of course, I wouldn't really go through that again. We did that program previous evening. Give thanks for those of you who were here. And of course, the importance of comprehending the difference between the three and how they can still intertwine. And we went into the origin of spirituality and what is spirit and the soul, and the soul in connection to the spirit, and the spirit in connection to the rest of nature and trees and leaves and the grass and rocks and water, and the spirit that's within them. And because when you talk about spiritual people, you usually think of some holy man, you know, on a rock somewhere breathing in the air. So he's connecting to nature, but yet still we're taught that the wind has no spirit. When the word for spirit and the word for the wind is the same. What's going on here? So you see, for us to get into the African spirituality discussion, it's more than just libation, you know. I know we begin there, and Ogun and Oshun, that's nice, you know, but we have to get this from the root, and we're going to be continuing that discussion this evening. Again, I'm inviting everyone who is, those of you who are listening to this via the YouTube. Remember, when we seal up the streaming on the YouTube, you will have to press the link in the description below, priestisaacinstitute.com, and you join us on Radio Anu. We will be sitting in and taking in the wisdom of one of our wise mothers, Sister Marimba Ani. Yes, that's the great mother who taught us the depths of the Ma'afa. And she will be showing us the depths of African spirituality this evening. So we definitely want to go there. And before I touch base there, we're going to take a look at what's taking place in Kenya. But let me highlight this again, family. I'm inviting everyone to contact us here at the Institute. and make sure you subscribe for our upcoming brand new online magazine entitled Kidemi. That's the name of the magazine to go forward first. Kidemi. You understand? Listen, family, this is going to be beautiful. Now, although it's designed to come to hit the front line every solstice and equinox, but the first edition is going to be out on the 1st of August. The 1st of August. Now, let me tell you, this will be a magazine unlike any magazine. Now, listen, it's coming from the Institute, it's coming from us. So, you know that there are going to be a lot of interesting things for you to scope and to read and to watch and to see. Yes, watch, not just pretty pictures. Now, you know, some people just go through magazines for pretty pictures. I'm guilty of that too. I like the pretty picture stuff. I sit down and just watch the pretty pictures. So we're going to have a lot of pretty pictures, but we're going to have a lot of pretty information within the magazine too. You know what's a magazine, eh? So it's fully loaded. You know what's a magazine. Okay. So it's fully loaded, but it's going to give you life. Life. It's not taking life, it's giving you life. So the magazine will be, of course, you know, you have several issues and special features. Of course, we're going to have a documentary of the issue. Yes, a documentary, because you see the difference with our magazine now is that you'll be able to, I mean, it's gonna take you at least a week to get through the magazine, because we have interviews in the magazine, not just to read. Interviews for you to watch in a magazine. Of course, it's online, it's digital. This is a different time, eh? You just press a button and a whole screen opens in front of you, and you're watching an interview between myself and another wise mind. Of course, we're going to have the documentary of the issue. This issue coming up, we'll have 2 specific documentaries. So to see this documentary now, you're going to have to come to the magazine. And of course, you're going to have the audio of different programs that you may have missed, the Tiger's Nest and other important programs. Some of the features will be in audio. You just press it and you listen to it, whether it's in your car, whether it's at home, when you're cooking, washing, whatever. This is a magazine for the full family. The International Homeschool and all the homeschool programs will be a key issue in the magazine. This is basically the voice, as such, of the institute, the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. So I'm inviting you, family, just email us and ask us to put you on the subscription agenda for this magazine. It's free. There's no charge whatsoever to subscribe or to get the magazine. It's something that is free and will always be free. That is how it's designed. It's something that we put out every 3 months, the solstice and the equinox. And if needs be, it will come out every month. It can come out every day, if that is the demand. You understand? So let's see what the demand is, family. I'm looking forward to each and everyone being a part of this, and we'll go more into it. We'll have a special launch when the time comes, but for now, just saturate and be with us. Hey, what's going on here now? Yes, family, as you know, in our beautiful, beloved country of Kenya, and I must say, Kenya is a staple on the Tiger's Nest. And since the protest has begun, the numbers as it relates to the listeners in Kenya, because I can see the board, I can literally look at the board even as I'm speaking to you, so I know literally how many people listening where. And the numbers in Kenya has fallen since the protest. And I would believe that that has a lot to do with the fact that the internet has been seriously disturbed during this time, or disrupted by the orders of the government, according to the news. Now, you see, that's the thing about the news. You understand. You got to really be careful where you take your news, and the type of news. For example, during the genocide that is taking place in Gaza. Well, it's still taking place, not during, it's taking place. The Israeli government would have banned Al Jazeera. Now, obviously, if you listen to Al Jazeera's news and the other stuff, you would see that Al Jazeera is at least a bit more truthful. YouTube would have banned RTV, that's Russian television, when the war in Ukraine began. We did a whole program on that Ukraine stuff a few days ago, and you would see why. So this internet stuff, this world that we live in is not about the truth. It's about an agenda. But anyway, we're going to take this from fine print, W1ON. Let's take a look at what's taking place in Kenya. As you know, today, the protesters, Gen Z, they call them, Gen Z, as Generation Z, or as we say in the Caribbean, Generation Z, Z. So, I mean, that's it. That's like the end of it then. If you are Generation Z, what's the next letter? That's why they're pushing abortion. That's why they push homosexuality. That's why they push drugs. That's why they push all sorts of foolishness. But anyway, let's listen to this.
Well, as Kenya's parliament has approved a contentious finance bill that pushes up taxes, police and protesters are clashing in the streets of the capital, Nairobi, and other cities. At least 5 protesters have been killed and dozens more have been wounded as police opened fire on demonstrators trying to storm Kenya's legislature. Former U.S. President Obama's half-sister was also tear-gassed on live television. What started out as a peaceful protest turned out ugly by the afternoon as crowds of protesters began throwing stones at the police and pushed back against barricades, making their way towards the parliament complex, which was sealed off by police in full riot gear. This resulted in massive clashes between police and hundreds of protesters. As protesters set sections of Kenya's parliament ablaze after the bill was passed. Police resorted to opening fire on protesters, resulting in several casualties.
I don't want him as my president. I even regret why I voted him. Yes, he must go. This mini finance bill, we are not amending. We are rejecting. Everything. We withdraw it. The money that he uses to travel, ajipange, ametuharibia economy. He must go. Ruto, you must by force. We are not pleasing you. We are not pleasing you. You must go by force.
As tensions escalated, anti-tax protesters set Nairobi's City Hall on fire. Now, this is the building that houses the county offices and the governor's office. Even the half-sister of former United States President Barack Obama was not spared by the police crackdown in Nairobi. Auma Obama was tear-gassed by police during an interview with CNN live on air while protesting Kenya's controversial finance bill. Across the country, protesters vented their ire over the government's tax push. After Nairobi, protests spread to other cities like Mombasa and President Ruto's hometown in Rift Valley, Eldoret. With the Kenyan Parliament approving the finance bill, moving it through to a third reading by lawmakers, the next step is for the legislation to be sent to the President for assent. President Ruto can send it back to Parliament if he has any objections. So as we speak, the protests are still going on in Nairobi and other cities in Kenya, including the coastal town of Mombasa, Eldoret, Kericho, Kisumu, just to name a few. There have been hundreds of arrests so far, and we are reporting that 5 protesters have been shot dead by the police. This is after some of them breached parliament buildings in the capital Nairobi, after the National Assembly voted to pass the Finance Bill 2024. Now this bill has gone to the president for assent. He can either assent to the bill or send it back to Parliament for more deliberations, and he had said that he will have a conversation with the protesters, saying that Kenya will move forward regardless of the efforts by some people to bring down the country's economy. Now, these protests began on social media, and what is now an unprecedented move in Kenya, because demonstrations are unlike before. These demonstrations are filled with young people or Generation Z who say that the bill stifles so many things and it's very contentious, and they want it not passed and not assented to by the president. Mark Bichachi is a communication and political strategist. He is now joining us from Nairobi, Kenya. Mark, good to see you and welcome. This is a very trying time for Kenya. 5 people have lost their lives and several people have been injured. The National Assembly has been breached and the City Hall has also been burned. The lawmakers passed the controversial Finance Bill 2024. It's up to the president to assent to it or take it back to Parliament. How is President Ruto going to balance this going forward, and what needs to happen now or next?
Well, you're quite right in your assessment that this is quite a dire situation for Kenya. The internet has been cut down to 40%, which is why I've been having difficulty even joining this particular Zoom call. At the same time, the president has landed back in State House, and there are many protesters on the streets. You've said that at least 5 have lost their lives. Reports I'm receiving is about 10 have lost their lives, with some speculating that there were snipers in a nearby building called the KICC, which there were snipers which many Kenyans are saying that were being used to fire upon the protesters. So the question that you've asked, what does the president need to do? Well, it's a difficult question. Some have speculated that he needs to declare a state of emergency. Others have said that he needs to declare a state of martial law. Others have said that he simply needs to not assent to the bill and take it back to Parliament. The difficulty here being that I'm talking to you on the June the 25th, 2024, as of July.
Yeah. Right, beautiful. Give thanks. Well, beautiful now, Bingy. But the situation in Kenya is nothing really that we are truly happy with. But hey, listen, people got to stand up for what they believe in, and it's not about just being happy about things. In fact, when you have to stand up and for your rights and protest, I mean, that is something to be happy about. It's better than to sit down and be squashed. Now, of course, I'm not necessarily on the ground, but for sure, again, we see another case of the younger generation. In fact, yes, let me return to that point now. Generation Z. You got to be careful with these terms they try to put on people. Imagine. So where are they going to go next? Generation Z. So is generation drop off the alphabet chain then? The next set of people, from baby boomers to what's the other one? Whatever they were called. I don't even know where I fit in. All of these, what I mean, these different terms. Generation X and millenniums and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, so the Gen Zs are standing up. You see the younger generations in the universities standing up for the people in Palestine. And one of the aspects of this protest is that a lot of the individuals, the young people, are what they call educated individuals standing up. And another news report said that the individuals that were presumed to be the head of or the leaders of this protest were arrested a few evenings ago, but the protest is getting bigger and bigger. It is said that the protest actually began on on social media, began on the internet, and it has spread. So we give thanks, and it's beautiful that you don't see none of them LGBT flags. These flags like to show up when people standing up for their rights, and I hope it stays like that. No, I ain't playing around, eh? I'm not playing around. We need foolishness trying to corrupt the struggle here. All right, very good, royal family. So we're still in Africa, eh? It's all about Africa. And as we said, we are delving into the realms of African spirituality. I'm definitely inviting everyone to make sure you have your link prepared to join us on Radio Anu. Those of you who are watching us on Radio Anu TV, the YouTube, make sure that when this is sealed, you will be with us on the international flavor, the universal spice. I'm talking about Radio Anu. Very good. Now, as I said, we are going to be hearing from one of our mothers. I'm talking about one of our esteemed teachers, Sister Marimba Annie, and she will be speaking, as it were, about African spirituality on another level. Now, you're going to want to hear this. Don't go anywhere.
Family. I mean that, family. Our youths, our young ones, our children, we need them, redeem them, and clean them. You see them, or else the enemy will come and scheme them. Family. I mean that, family. Education for the nation that's full of salvation, biology, astronomy, and African theology, geography. Family. I love that, family. Whatever the age or the stage, that youth will be engaged with tutorials, activities, and videos from the studios of the Priest Isaac Institute of Holistic Knowledge. Family.
The International Homeschool Program is designed and recommended for all ages. The psychological state of our children is very important, especially in the environment that most of us live in. The International Homeschool Program provides online classes, activities, and videos that are fun for the youth and edifies them of their African heritage as well as the higher sciences. To enroll your family today, visit www.priestisaacinstitute.com, go to the main website, and search for Youth Corner. Or you can email priestisaacInstitute@gmail.com for a course sample. Give thanks.
Yeah, once again. Hey, family, give thanks for your presence with us. And believe me, family, now is the time to check and visit our website. I'm talking about the International Homeschool Program. And all the special offers that are there. And don't forget the ancient astronomy course. Available for all of those of us who are serious about this knowledge. Right, for your family, and as we said, speaking about, serious about this knowledge, that's where we're going to be going this evening. Give thanks again for your presence with us. So we're going to continue now the reasoning on the African spirituality train. As I said, somewhat preparing you for the reasoning that we intend to have this Thursday, pardon us for previous Thursday, this Thursday. Rasta Round Table, myself and Rasai Cern, who really brought up the subject, at least of spirituality, and the whole aspect of African spirituality must go, and it's intertwined with. Now, again, when you say African spirituality, it's usually, Ifa and Yoruba and libation, and all of that is good, and voodoo, and all of that is nice, and voodoo, good conversation. But again, that's why previous night, in the Tiger's Nest, for those of you who were with us, we took the time to start from scratch with this understanding of the spirit and the connection with yourself. But you see, I'm not going to go over all we went through previous night. I actually want to go straight into the discussion that we have planned for you. And we will be, as I said earlier, listening to one of our mothers. That is Mama Marimba Annie. And she will be speaking as it was about the whole aspect of African spirituality and what it means. Beautiful interview. The Tiger's Nest family, share the link. Those on Radio Anu, share the link. And those who are not on Radio Anu, remember, you're going to have to press the link in the description below, as we will soon seal off the streaming of this Tiger's Nest to the YouTube. So you will have to press the link in the description below, and that will bring you straight to Radio Anu. But let us continue. And of course, you're watching, press the thumbs up, like the video. That's the least we can do, pressing that thumbs up. If you can't do anything else, press the thumbs up. You understand? Give thanks.
How does the African concept of God differ from the African American concept of God? Tough question, but...
Well, no, it's only tough because you said African American. There's a term I have difficulty using because I almost find that a contradiction in terms, okay? And I don't have problems saying that Africa is wherever we are born. That there is Africa reborn in us, okay? So that the contrast is really between the African concept and the European concept, for me, okay? And even when we, as Africans in the diaspora, think that we are responding, you see, or try to respond to a European concept, our Africanness comes through.
Or try to accept the European,
Okay? The African concept is of a force, a universal life force, which unites everything in the universe. That is all phenomenon, all being in the universe, which flows through everything, which gives meaning to everything. It's a source of spirit, of truth, of meaning. So that when we talk about the various Orisha, some people have called them gods, I call them forces, or the Vodun, for instance, the Abasson in Twi language. We're really talking about aspects of this force as it manifests itself in the world so that we can understand it. So that you might talk about Shango, who you associate with thunder and lightning. Ogun, who comes to us through the knowledge of tools and brings the knowledge of agriculture and so forth. And I could go on and on and on, but really these all come together in one universal force. So that the concept of God, as it is related to in the European experience,
which is,
seems to be that people get locked into the personification of a concept.
What do you mean?
Rather than the significance of it, so that you have this vision in your mind of this man somewhere who is up there, I guess. Who is pulling all the strings, manipulating everything. But when you really think about it, there must be a deeper concept than that. You're talking about something deeper than that. And the African conception, you see, is much more complex, much more profound, because, of course, the first spiritual concepts come out of Africa. So that you're dealing with something which is much deeper. But when people generally go to church, they aren't questioning and thinking about the complexity of what is this spiritual thing that I'm dealing with, you see. So they just accept these images. And in the European image, you have this concept of a God with a capital G, and that comes off as some kind of super person. The African concept is much more dealing with nature, dealing with metaphysical realities, dealing with the forces that interact and on our lives. And that's why your mother would say a prayer when she's planting a flower or doing her work, because she understands this as energy, as an energy source. Now, she might not consciously articulate
on
that.
Intellectual level.
Right. She doesn't have to do that. But our people have always lived that for us, you're talking about energy. And you're talking about something which is very sacred and something very special.
Now, what is ancestral communion? And how does it differ in meaning from ancestral worship?
Well, I don't use the word ancestor worship because I think that it was used mistakenly by mainly European anthropologists who came into Africa and other areas, trying to explain something which they had no basis for understanding. And so they simplistically reduced it to talking about worshiping the dead. Ancestor communion it's much deeper than that. First of all, and to answer this now, I have to get very deep. Has to do with a whole different way of understanding the universe. It has to do with a whole different philosophical concept of time, for instance, where in the European worldview, you have a lineal conception of past, present, and future. And those are separated and distinguished from each other. And you can't really, if you're in one, you don't have access to the other. So we're in the present, we can't deal with the future, and we can't communicate with the past, okay? So what they saw was the dead, and they saw the living trying to talk to the dead, and then they talked about worshiping the dead. In the African conception, you have a concept of time, which is sacred. It is cyclical. It therefore transcends those lineal categories of past, present, and future. We get beyond those. We're not dealing with those anymore. We're dealing with a reality which makes everything one. Everything is a whole. And that's what happens in the most sacred concepts of African people.
Even time.
Even time. Okay, and that's what happens in our rituals. You see, we are able to experience another kind of time frame where everything is one, everything is together. Now, if that were true, then it would be no problem in you communicating with your ancestors, because you're all together. So that's one aspect of the concept of ancestor communion, all right? Mm-hmm. Now, why is it important to have this communication? Because for the African, to get strength, you have to be whole. And the most important thing is the community.
Listen.
And the community is made up of, some say, the dead, the living, and the yet unborn. Most properly speaking, you can't even use the term dead, you see. But
because?
Okay, you can't use the term dead because in terms of spiritual realities, which are the most important for us, when one physically dies, one is not dead totally. In fact, a very important part of your existence, a very important stage in your development as a human being is as an ancestor.
Family, this is one of our mothers. This is one of our master teachers. This is one of the sisters that would have livicated their lives. A supreme elder right now, Sister Marimba Annie, and she has many lectures, presentations on different aspects of our Afrocentricity and our African spirituality. And we have to give enough respect to this sister. Family, let me just tell you now, those of you who are watching on the YouTube, Radio Anu TV, we're going to ask you to join us on Radio Anu itself, the International Flavor, the Universal Spice. The link is priestisaacinstitute.com, priestisaacinstitute.com. The link is in the description below the video. Just go down, press it, and you'll be right there with us on Radio Anu. Nothing hard, no long hard, wait and press this and it's not working. No, I've tried that on many other sites. I wonder what's going on. You come straight to Radio Anu and let us continue this discussion. We're talking about independent media, family. We got to get the hang of that. No, not hang, we ain't hanging, but get the grip of that one now. Independent media. Yeah, so we're going to say goodnight to YouTube for the moment. Radio Anu is where it's at. Yes, blessed love. And as we continue, Sister Annie.
Throughout your life, you continue to grow, you continue to develop.